Hey friend, welcome to Prāna Fusion, a free yoga tutorial that teaches you how to upgrade your entire nervous system, make you stronger, healthier, more vibrant, so that you can maintain a happier state day to day. My name is Ethan Hill, and if you're discovering this via YouTube, I recommend you head to my website, linked in the description below. There you'll gain access to the entire free tutorial, and you'll have context for what we'll be doing in this particular video. If you've been sticking with me, this is it. This is the creme de la creme. Welcome to ICJ lock. In yoga, they call the ICJ lock the Maha Bandha. Maha meaning great, Bandha meaning an energetic lock. And I'm going to teach you it step by step, but know that the full tutorial is found on my Deeper, Slower, Easier series, which is also in my website. Now, the ICJ lock is actually three separate things. It's the I lock, the C lock, and the J lock. And we'll learn all of them individually before actually accessing and practicing them in an actual Prāna Fusion context. Starting with I lock, I'll give you the very short version here. Sit upright and engage your entire pelvic floor, so as though you are trying not to poop yourself. Squeeze the whole thing, and then keep that squeeze, but breathe into your belly and try to release the front side of your pelvic floor, but the back side near your anal muscles are still active. It's a little bit challenging, isn't it? Just the front side relaxes, but the back side of your pelvic floor still has energy flowing through it. This is called the Mula Bandha, or root lock in yoga. Only I've translated to I lock because root lock doesn't really mean a lot to many of us. Instead, the I, or the body of the lowercase I, is now placed or superimposed on the lower part of your spine, near the tailbone area. And that's where you're trying to engage. That's why I'm trying to say you're relaxing the front side, but trying to engage the back side near the spine itself. And the dot above the eye symbolically represents your pineal gland in the center of your head. So it's as though you're trying to suck energy up the backside of your spine. You've got this very light contraction, muscular contraction of the anal muscles. And imagining a warm river running up the backside of your body until it comes into the center of your brain. All of this, by the way, is correspondent with you tilting your entire pelvis, as you see here, and trying to lean ever so slightly backwards, like you're trying to spread your collarbones open. This is I lock, and then C lock comes on top of that, because occasionally we can rock too far. As you see here, I'm squeezing too much, my low back discs are compressing, and this is clearly not what we're going for. Instead, we're trying to iron out our spine entirely so that there's this empty, straight, open tube from bottom to top so that energy can flow much more easily. As you're engaging the backside of your body, you seem to compress backwards, which is not exactly fully aligned. So now my hip points are kind of the lower point of the C, and my chin is the upper part of the C, as though it were a big mouth that we're chewing on itself, or we're trying to compress downwards. So you can even imagine these little arrows going backwards, pulling your belly button back towards your spine, flattening out the entire system. So combined with I lock, you're pushing through the hips. You've got this tilt, and you've got this energy rolling up the back side of your spine, extending each vertebra further away from one another. And it actually curves you too far backwards. So the C lock is you flattening out by bringing your jaw and your hip points energetically closer together. C lock, by the way, is called Uddiyana Bandha in yoga. And once you have these two energetic locks engaged, now you can go with the J lock, which is called Jalandhara Bandha in yoga. This is how it works. Step 1, imagine a string from the top of your head pulling you high, and your chin dropping and the back of your neck lengthening. So it's 3 steps. A string is pulling the top of your head higher up so that your vertebrae have more room to breathe. And that corresponds with a dropping of your chin, not huge, but subtle, in the back of your neck lengthening. You could almost feel if your eyes are closed as though you were giving yourself a double chin, but I promise it's more aligned than you think. Okay, that's step 1. Number 2 is what you're doing with your face. So you're dragging your ears back in space. All of us have those muscles. Your lips are slightly turning up into a gentle smile, and your eyes turn into the center of your forehead. Okay, so it's ears, lips, and eyes. Ears, lips, and eyes. As you're being lifted, as your chin is dropping. And all this you can begin to tell is almost like you're making your head into a balloon that can expand. The point is space. We're trying to create much more room for energy to flow through the body. And that happens, or the origin point of all that, is by creating space in the spinal cord and brainstem. Okay, the final step of this is what you do with the inside of your mouth. So as though you were making a NG sound, so like going, you're going to place the tongue at the top of the mouth and try to make that sound. I mean, you're not actually vibrating the vocal cords. It's just what you're doing energetically with the muscles of the tongue and mouth. And the front of the tongue, the tip of the tongue, floats or rests in the mouth. And then your teeth, even though your lips are closed and a very slight smile still pervades the face, the teeth are very slightly hovering away from one another. Okay, so they're not compressed, the jaw is not active, and you're not clenching. Got that? So you've got 3 steps and then 3 mini steps within each of those. The first one is what you're doing with the entire outer head being pulled up to the sky, dropping the chin, lengthening the neck. Number 2 is what you're doing with just the face itself, drawing the ears back, slight smile, eyes turn up so that the eyebrows separate. And then what you're doing with the inside of your head. So the sound, your tongue rests or floats in the mouth, teeth slightly separate, and you can even imagine your sinus cavities getting larger. And you add that on top of the eye lock and the C lock, tilting the pelvis, energy up, drawing it backwards, trying to flatten the spine, lifting the entire head, drawing the ears backwards in space. And now you lock that in place. Okay, and this, what you've done is you basically manually created a condition for which more energy can flow through your spine. And we'll actually practice that just a few times in a pose called ricochet. So you'll need a wall or something to push against. So as you see here, my hands are placing on the wall or object behind me, and there's going to be a slight push of my hands out as though to spread my chest in general and squeeze the backs out of my shoulders. From here, my eyes close and I begin to meter my body. So immediately you'll be able to say, oh yeah, okay, different parts of my arm are active. But what about my low back? What about my mid back? Through the pinging mechanism, you generally know where you're going to gridlock an area. Then you begin the cycle of circuit breakers, wherein you inhale, blow bubbles, imagine every single sphere or cell in your body starting to expand out and out and out. And once you reach the top of all that, you hold as long as you can while imagining yourself radiating and singing from the inside. You're lifting, you're like, ah. Good. Exhale, keep your hands where they are, but relax all the elbows. Give your body a break. Remember, we've got to do this consistently. We've got to create a pattern where the body suddenly knows, oh, all of the cells in that particular area that you metered need to update themselves, need to upgrade themselves, in fact. Inhale, try again. Push away. Hold, squeeze, radiate, especially in the areas that feel low vibration. Sing in your low back, for instance. And now begin to engage your bandhas, your ICJ lock. Okay, backside has energy moving upwards across the spine. The front side is keeping the balance. And your head is expanding. You're imagining the head getting higher, higher, higher. All the vertebrae in your neck are separating. And everywhere in the body sings. And then maintain this for as long as feels comfortable. This one's a little bit more challenging than the rest. Until you can't anymore, and you exhale, you entirely relax. Entirely relax. You can even let go of the wall if you like, if you need to give your shoulders a break. And we go one more time. Arms back, inhale, push off. So many different arrows leaving the body, trying to expand outwards. Magnetic field starting to get larger and larger and larger. You're singing. And then engage your bandhas. And all the bandhas are doing is just lengthening your spine, making room for more energy to wash down through the body and find its way into the respective area that you're gridlocking. Good. Exhale, drop. Or maybe come onto your back for final rest, Shavasana. As you wade at the bottom of the pool, you begin to feel all the special tinglies in the body that occur when we first send energy through it. Now, okay, this entire practice is something that not only do you get better at, but you begin to actually see marked progress. Meaning over time, this is how yogis are able to enter those crazy postures that you see, because their muscles have adapted to more energy moving through it. Okay, in an actual Prāna Fusion class, I highly recommend you actually purchase the class pack to better understand what we're doing here and to embody the material. But in the classes themselves, we're going to be entering a whole variety of different yoga poses, and you'll actually get a feel for this thing. And if you do it right, if you really take the time to rest and eat well and squeeze over and over and over again, you are going to transform in a matter of days, weeks, as opposed to months and years. Otherwise, if you're not interested in the class pack, no worries. Just make sure that you check out some of my other free tutorials that put this into better context. If you haven't seen Gravity Yoga yet, for instance, I highly recommend you checking that out. That's all about flexibility, and it's the sister practice to Prāna Fusion. Otherwise, I'm really grateful that you joined me here. I know how precious attention is these days, and so I don't take this lightly. Reach out with any questions. I appreciate you, and I will talk with you soon. Bye for now.